You guys again. Jeez. Wow. You guys again. Tesla also won't back away. Tesla with a big vote of confidence yesterday. Elon Musk led space partner. Oh, they supply SpaceX. Okay. All right. All right. So NASDAQ closed off the middle Bollinger Band in a straight up doji yesterday. That's pretty, that's about as close as you can get without being exact. And Sell H on the actionable list leading the action. BDYYF or BYDDF. Not doing too bad. Damn, kids are up early, man. I guess they're getting enough sleep. Yeah, that's 9 hours. Kids only need 9 hours of sleep, I guess. Nvidia. Ooh, AMD yesterday with a retest of the 50. Well, I guess that's the end of that move to the downside, huh? SIVB, ODFL, CRM, Uber, and Netflix. Okay. There you go. I gotta play with this RTX voice thing a little bit more. It keeps changing the input device on its own, quite literally. All right, Cell H trying to rock it here. I gotta buy some of these like down lower. I gotta do better at several things. Dude, the Tesla reversal was epic. Absolutely epic. I didn't even get to participate and add any. Um, yeah, it's not very fun. I'm I'm really trying not to do a lot because it's I don't know. It's not doing super hot, at least for me. So I'm really trying not to do a whole heck of a lot. And but yeah, the test reversal yesterday was nice. That is a pocket pivot. We've actually had several pocket pivots on Tesla. Two here, one here, maybe even a third on that little day right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, three pocket pivots there, one pocket pivot there. So we're getting a little bit froggy. You're definitely holding the trend line, holding the 50 day. Plenty of things came back to the 50 day. One of these days are just gonna freaking take off. Apple yesterday, 50 days right on my trend line. That's where it came to yesterday. It's still kind of down here, so not too bad. Nvidia, not really far from its 50, but that's kind of what it came and tested the other, to the downside here recently was the 50 day. So the 50 day on some of these stocks are doing pretty good. Moderna not even quite to the 50 day. Atlassian looking good. Intuit looking pretty good still. Square getting to the 200 day. That's a little janky. You got a reversal up there. There's Net. Remax is still just plugging away here at highs. They look like they may be bear flagging out. What happened here yesterday? Accumulation distribution not liking it. Yeah, you just kind of have to hold on for dear life. Did you see the Apple? Did you see the Apple thing? They ended up going through, also testing their 50 day. Oddly enough. This freaking UGAS, man. Jeez. No idea what I'm talking about with Apple? So Apple, I'm sure you know, if you go to their app store and you put something in their app store and you want to charge users with in-app purchases, you have to go through the Apple App Store and they will charge you 30%, up to 30% of that transaction. Well, court just ruled no bueno. Court just ruled Apple has to allow people to transact outside of their ecosystem, which is probably going to be a huge hit for Apple. And so they dropped a whopping 2% on the news. Or I guess 4% on the news. Yeah, which is really interesting. It's basically free money for Apple. And it's money they're not going to get to realize anymore. So basically, Epic Games, it's really interesting because Epic won 8 out of the 9 battles, and this was the one that Epic Games won, was about the in-app purchases. Maybe the most important one. I didn't really dive too deep into it to see what the other ones are, but the Apple take a little bit of hit on that one. I mean, they've got how many lines of business? Like 9. So that just took one of them, likely cut it in half. I don't want to say overnight, but probably within a month. But it doesn't even start yet. It starts some other time, like later in the year. giving everyone a chance to adjust, I guess. But it's going to start later in the year, and it will hurt Apple's profit margins and overall profitability to a degree. So that's that. But this freaking UGAS, man, this freaking UGAS is bonkers. So we had it down here around $6, and that's at 25. Didn't think it was going to do that. I guess natural, I guess natural gas prices are bonkers. Yeah, 350. And it's up at 529. But natural gas that you guys is, I think. Well, this isn't only seasonally. I mean, you go over to months, it'll rise a little bit in the wintertime, but it doesn't triple. I don't think, unless it does it. Like 2017 didn't really do anything, or 2018, whatever. This rallied in the middle of winter. This one rallied all year. This one, so it's definitely interesting. I mean, this thing has definitely spiked up in the past. You talked about Atlassian. Yeah, nice little bull flag forming here on Atlassian. Volume this morning. The price action looks good, but the volume's a little bit low. GBTC is trying to get perky. Oh, a lot of wicks to the downside here on Bitcoin recently. Well, GBTC. There's Sell H. Sell H is just doing excellent. Been rocking ever since. Held by that trend line, which was nice. Loosely got support at the 50-day. Here's the global list. Let's walk down the global list. Never mind. Already went away. Yeah, it's a weird dynamic right now. It's hard staying with everything. I seem to allocate more to the TQQQ. It's not my option swing for the fences type of an environment. So, I mean, the Nasdaq's creeping up. It's not like you want to be out, so you just have to change the asset. XPEV looks intriguing. Yeah, the thing is, like, how many times have we said that this year? It's time to step away, but the market keeps going up. So I don't think it's time to. I just think it's time to change assets. And then one of these days, all of our stocks are going to explode up. It's like, damn it. AVGO. Sookie Sookie now. Look at that. That looks nice. All time high breakout. It's a chip stock. Chips are still in vogue. Pretty good. I got to look at a thing called Caspio, which is the graphical programming thing. It's pretty good, actually. It's a lot deeper than I thought it was. AVGO. How'd earnings go? They beat earnings by a buck. It's pretty good. And they generally beat. Chop market, there's another down cycle coming. Like what kind of a down cycle? Like a 2020 or like one of these smaller corrections, smaller pullbacks? Because that's the question. I don't know. Most of these deeper pullbacks, I've been talking about this to, I don't know, one or two people lately in actual real life, which is interesting. Um, another 10 to 15. So a full blown correction, then, is what you're saying. Yeah, most of the corrections we've been getting lately have been due to actual reasons. The smaller pullbacks of a few percent. Markets in, I mean, with all this Fed money, markets essentially in up only mode. Wow, Thinkorswim is killing on my memory here. I gotta close it real quick. I gotta close it. No, that's a bear market, Ellie. That's a bear market. A correction, depending on your definition that I've found online, is 10 to 15%. So that's this is actually a bear market, and then the Fed just bought it back up. Come on, close out already. Using 4 gigs of memory. I don't need that much memory being used. I got two of my RAM modules not seated properly, and I've just been too lazy to fix it. Finviz doesn't help with my memory either. DOT up 10%. Some bitch. Political arena is messy. It's always messy. It's always messy. It's when it's political, not messy. Nah, it's fine. It's well, if you want to let your political stuff lead into your investment stuff, that's not gonna probably not gonna work out well for you. It's just generally how it goes. If you let it if you let it bleed in, um, it's not gonna. It just doesn't work out very well. Jeez, I got screens all over the place on my screen. I don't know what to do. Things are everywhere. There we go. So, I mean, what you stated, I don't know. It's just the markets, they just keep going up. That's just what they do. They just go up. Get these smaller undulations to the downside a little bit. Like this one was a little bit of danger here, down about 11%, but it pulled itself back real quick. I don't know. I think Tesla's going to buoy a lot of the market. I don't know how much weight it can carry on its own, but at some point it's going to carry the whole damn thing. Dismiss fiscal policy and unemployment that influence fundamentals of the market. Unemployment that influence. Okay, well, so point out a data point that the market has reacted adversely to. Point out a data point that the market has reacted adversely to. We're still like within a stone's throw of all two good guys, 2 good days. We're right back at the top. In 2008, the market was falling. The market is, you know, every week it seems like not get at all-time highs. I'm just talking market stuff, man. I mean, it's one thing to go out and look at like financial data. That's cool. No issues with that. But you can't. Then you have to come back to the market. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. The market moves. Kind of tell us where the market moves, and then the data is going to be what the data is going to be. Because we don't know what data points, quote unquote, they are looking at. If you can figure that out, you've got it made. But I don't know who's been able to figure that one out yet. Well, let's see when the whole Afghanistan thing happened. Okay, I can't tell. You know, what do you mean live in dreamland? I'm not living in dreamland. Like, some individual names are choppy, but the Nasdaq's straight up. Okay, so 3 trillion spend and new corporate taxes. Okay, so 3 trillion spend. That's all going to go into the damn stock market. That's what 2020 showed you. That's exactly what 2020 showed you. I don't even know any political news. No, look at the chart. It goes up. Chart is up. Look, it's up. I'm not making anything up. I'm just not. It's up. If it was down, if we were if we were like this, we could have conversations about what's going to fall apart and how we're going to stop it because we're falling apart. But we're up. Like I don't. We're up. I'm not the one being overly happy. I'm just looking at the fact that we're up. That's it. I was up when Trump was in office. Has nothing to do with political stuff. Zero. Zero. No, but you're trying to time something that isn't on the chart. You're trying to, I mean, that's what you're saying. You're saying, I think we're going to go into a correction. I want to raise cash. It's fine if you want to do that. I'm just saying it's probably not going to do what you're thinking right now. You know? I'm not defending any. I don't have to defend anything. I'm just markets up. That's what it is. Number up. It's 2 words. If you can if you can tell me in price action that negates number up, you win. It's it's not a win. It's just I want my number to go up, so I have to go by this number. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't like spending, trillions of dollars. I don't think that's a great idea. I don't think it's great at all. The problem is we We won't even know how it affects us for like another 5 or 10 years. That's the problem. And that's the real problem. It may do nothing to us. You never know. Other than inflation. Obviously, inflation will happen, but I saw a great I saw a great statistic the other day is that if you make a minimum wage, you can no longer afford to live anywhere in America. I thought that was a pretty poignant headline. Market chop? Well, when it starts chopping, we can talk market chop. We have individual name chop is what we got. I mean, kind of. I mean, you still look at all the mega caps. I mean, Apple still above its prior base, Microsoft well above its prior base, Facebook. I mean, the proof is in the charts. Amazon's the only thing lagging. That's about it. All our big ones are running. Tesla's getting good. We were pumping that in '08. We had open country. Right now we pump money into sand. What do you mean sand? Just print it for no reason? 2008 we had an open country. But what does that mean? And right now we pump money into sand. What's different between 2008 and today? Just a different corporate or entity getting the money, I guess. You see the thing on the EV bill that Biden passed? It's like $7,500 or something for an EV credit, and then if it's built in a union factory, you get an additional $4,500. So they're screwing Tesla out of that additional $4,500. It's a giveaway to the legacy automakers. So see, I don't necessarily like that at all. Retail spending, what's different? You're saying they are spending today and they weren't spending there, or you're saying now they're giving money to people and then they were giving money to companies? That's a little different. Maybe that could go into the retail thing you're talking about. All right, LAC. LAC curling up really nicely. Where's JJ? That's good volume too. That really was a good day for Tesla yesterday. I guess there was some dude that said he's going to buy 1 million shares of Tesla. He may have already done it. Maybe he did it all yesterday. That's quite a bit of shares yesterday. 22 million versus 15. So that's 7 million extra shares. That could be him filling his bag on the little mini dip there. It's not too bad. I gotta get rid of some of this stuff. 452 bars to the right. Geez, I really like to go into the future. Oh, dude, I watched a super cool show yesterday. It's a little series. It's on Apple Plus. I don't know if you. I've got an Apple TV, so it just kind of sits there. Um, anyway, it's called Calls. It's it's a show that takes place. It's just phone calls between people, but they're going through this like crazy world-changing event. It's pretty cool. It's a really unique experience. because it's pretty much all audio. There's a little bit of visual graphics, but it's just like sine waves. You have every streaming platform. Yeah, check it out. Calls. I think there's 7 or 8, and they're like 20 minutes per thing. So you can chunk it up if you want to. But yeah, don't jump around. It's kind of meant to listen to it in order. It's really, really cool. I enjoyed that one. That was good. Cellate, 7%. Services is bigger market than manufacturing. Yeah, service is, yeah, it is. Service is a big part. Both of the bleeding jobs and are understaffed. So money don't go into making people produce more. They may spend, but seems most of them are holding money for a better day. Okay. So where does that lead us? So I think the savings rate is a little bit higher. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I mean, for, the individual family, it's a good thing, but for the economy, they don't want to see the savings rate. Don't want to see the savings rate too high. But for you and me, I think it's great. In terms of what the market's going to do with that information, I guess you'd be looking at service companies then. Whatever. That's kind of funny. You're definitely right. The services industry is larger, but if you look at the biggest market cap, most of them actually are manufacturing. They just don't manufacture it here. Apple, they make products overseas. Google, they don't. They're probably they're probably a service company, wouldn't you say? Google's kind of a service company. They make most of their money on search, which is a service. It's advertising. Is advertising a service? I don't know if advertising is considered a service. It may not be either. It may not be service or manufacturing. Facebook, kind of in the same category, advertising. Um, Not the big one. I'm not the big ones on. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's interesting. Most of our big cap companies, I don't think are service. Is ad service? Well, then there you go. So technology, Microsoft. So Microsoft's very, very software. Okay, so if you say Google is service, then Microsoft kind of has to be. Although Microsoft makes Windows, that's, I guess, your subscriptions just considered service then? Reoccurring revenue considered a service, and if it's a one-time shot like an iPhone, then that's considered a manufacturing. Okay, I guess in that case, then most of these you would consider service. Amazon would probably also be services. Oh, they sell stuff. They're retailers. Retailers not service or manufacturing, is it? There's got to be more sectors than just service and manufacturing. Yeah, fair enough. But what about buying something on Amazon? See, that's too broad of a definition. If that's your definition, then the services sector, like you said, is larger than manufacturing. So you can't get any. You need to break it down more than that, I think, to have any viable information that's any way, shape, or form actionable. Because if you're going to say Google and Microsoft, or if you're going to include those in services, then everything else is obfuscated because they're just too damn big. They need to break it down then. So, all right, I'm not sure what good that. The manufacturing stuff can be good because that stuff you can measure, but services are just too much. All right, LAC now leading up 7%. Cell H Moderna popping up, just came back, retested the breakout, and is up this morning. Yeah, it's too broad. Too broad. That's way too broad. At least to be actionable information, not that, you know, it's just something to, it's a data point you've got to look at, then you move on. They only put that last they only put that last part in there because that's us. We're considered more advanced. By patting yourself on the back. It's like, good job. We did it. We made it. Hey, what are you busted in my office for? Like I owe you money or something. What's up? Okay. Via your camera? You broke your brother? Okay. Well, we can get a new one. That's fine. No problems there. Are you ready? You get all your stuff ready? Okay. Yeah. Okay, and then it shuts the door in my face. Complain to the U.S. Census Bureau. I will write a strongly worded letter to the U.S. Census Bureau. Strongly worded. Dear Sir and or Madam, your uh, your stuff sucks. That'll be it. Moderna trying to bounce back. It's not in a bad spot. Nice little pullback here on lower volume, and we're trying to bounce back up. So we could see Moderna back up at the maybe a nice cup here. They're starting to sell quite a bit of that vaccine globally. My pool guy actually bought a bunch of Moderna. Um, he looked into it, said that all these other countries are buying just tons and tons of. Let's look at Moderna. Um, see if they have most. If they've added sales. June, August. Late stage studies for flu and RSV. Yeah, they're gonna kill it, aren't they? Yeah, they're also doing this RNA. It's not strictly COVID. If they can get one or two of these other things approved, that would be crazy. It's funny. I heard yesterday on the radio um, that the science isn't 100% in on the third vaccine. They're like, yeah, you don't have to get a third vaccine. So yeah, they got all kind. I guess these guys also have like a $15 billion war chest right now, which I guess they were going at basically going bankrupt here pretty soon. Um, but then this COVID thing hit. And they're the one with the golden goose there. So now they got $15 billion in cash, which is pretty cool. So they're gonna survive for a while. What do you mean switch your brain off on flu stuff? I don't understand the hypocrisy of people. That's what I don't like. But individuals can be hypocritic in that way, I guess. It's your right. What? See, I hate this when they just jump my text around like that. Oh, next generation COVID 19 that encodes portion of the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein that everyone's bitching about. Critical for neutralization. That's cool. Well, if they do that again, you'll have a whole other thing of that. mRNA 1283 potential refrigerator stable mRNA vaccine allowed for distribution. That's still COVID. They're talking other stuff. Yeah, yeah. They get one every year. I was at a friend's mom's house that didn't get the COVID vaccine, but she got the flu vaccine, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why would you? If you don't want to get a vaccine, then don't get a vaccine. But don't sit here and be like hypocritical in that regard. That's what I was talking about, hypocritical. I'm like, why would you get a flu vaccine every year and then not get the COVID vaccine? Because guess what? You're right, Ellie. That new flu vaccine also hasn't been tested. They just keep making new ones. Every year they just guess which strain's going to do it, and or they make a new one and they pump it in your arm. Same shit. Small people want to hear you can do something about it. Just stop breathing and boil your brains. I don't get it. Stop breathing and boil your brains part. So Moderna's got a bunch of cash, um, and its stock chart's not looking too bad either. Not looking too bad at all. LAC does good. I agree with that part, Ellie, for sure. People don't like to be told what to do. I definitely agree with that. Yeah. It just depends what you're. It's such a catch 22 to me. It really is. And I really would like someone to explain it to me, but everyone has their own motivations. Like I get these people that say, "I'm a patriot, don't tread on me. I'm an American," but yet they won't take a vaccine that is designed to help save other Americans because of your individual freedoms. Like I get the individual freedom, but aren't we supposed to be for America, which is Americans? So what overrides? Does patriotism override or does your individual freedom override? Because patriotism is not individual freedom. They are opposites of each. They're polar opposites of each other. They're polar opposites. So I just think it's interesting. Well, they're not related to everybody in the country, but there's a certain segment of people I see all the time say shit like that. Especially all the time. They say they're for the US, they're patriotic, but then they won't do anything that's for the good of all of the country. It just doesn't work. They're more interested in the selfish part, but they call themselves patriots. Just say you're not a patriot. Just say you're fucking selfish. At least that's honest. The patriotic thing to do is get the vaccine. That's the patriotic thing to do. If you're willing to go in the military and die for the country, but you won't save your country, man, that's not patriotism. I shouldn't care about unvaccinated. It doesn't affect vaccinated. Sure it can. If anything, they help with creating natural immunity. Well, they actually don't create help natural immunity. Um, they can get natural immunity, but they don't give. Well, see, so you can say you're patriotic or you can say you're individualistic. I think those are polar opposites of one another. The argument isn't whether natural immunity is better than the vaccine. Of course, the natural immunity is better than the vaccine. But if you want everyone to get the natural immunity, then just fucking throw COVID parties in old folks' homes and have it and just be done with it. But see, that's also hypocrite. Kind of a hypocrisy. You can't say natural immunity is better, but I don't want everyone to get COVID because you can't get natural immunity unless you take the chance of getting COVID. There's no way to do that. What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. I throw away emotional statements. I don't even know what that means. Taking vaccine is not patriotic. Sure, it is. The vaccine is to get the whole point of the vaccine. Yeah, it protects you, but it's not just about protecting you. It's about slowing everything down. It's about slowing the virus down. That's what it's about. And you do that as a society. You can't do that. I mean, I don't understand how that's not understood. Vaccines really don't work. Giving all your money to government is patriotic. Now, well, then what's patriotic? Then maybe that's the definition. What is patriotic? Maybe I don't understand what that is. I already explained. I said you do things which benefit your countrymen. You do things that benefit the person next to you. Being patriotic. Look, they call people that go into the military patriotic. The reason they do that is because they take a chance of dying to protect their neighbors. I'm kind of taking the right's definition of patriotic. You're patriotic, you're a hero, you're in the military. That's what I see thrown around more than anything. If you have an alternative definition, I'm open to it. But you go into the military, you sacrifice your literal life to save the person next to you. Okay, so you're taking the opposite approach. Okay, well, if you're going to take the opposite approach, then you're saying people getting vaccinated are not patriotic. That's what you're saying then. So Trump's not patriotic, Biden's not patriotic, everyone that's gotten vaccinated is not patriotic. And I'm saying they're not patriotic. I'm saying they're selfish. I'm saying that's the difference. But they don't help the vaccinated in any way, shape, or form. No, because think of it this way: um, if you have a bunch of unvaccinated people and they all go to the hospital at the same time, and then vaccinated people get sick from whatever, get in a car accident, go to the hospital. It's already happening. They have no beds because the unvaccinated people are all going to the hospital. That affects everybody. That clogs the system, which was the whole point of the, you know, quarantining, anyways. The whole point of quarantining was to not overload the hospital system. And now you're seeing, now you're seeing the minority of people that are unvaccinated clogging. It's not fake news. It's not 100% of hospitals are full, but it's not fake news. It's happening. It's real. It's just not it's not 100% everywhere. Well, I'm not in every hospital. I hear reports about it. You're saying it's happened 0%. Well, I'm going to Google it just like you could. You don't want to know. You just want to sit here and have an argument. Man dies after being turned away at ICU due to at capacity due to COVID. In Mississippi. Due to COVID 19, CMRC emergency staff contacted 43 hospitals in 3 states in search of a cardiac ICU bed and finally located one in Meridian, Mississippi. Google it. Just fucking Google it. Shit. Like, it's just. Look, I get it. My whole point of saying this is that get getting the vaccine is patriotic. That's all I was saying. The people say that they're fucking patriots and don't get vaccinated. They're selfish. That's it. That's all I was saying. I'm not here to argue every little idiosyncratic thing about fucking COVID and the right and the left. That's not what I'm saying. You can't turn it into something bigger because that's not what I'm saying. Here's the article I found. I mean, these these aren't not everything's a fucking conspiracy theory. Shit. Most people just doing their best thing. It's not it's just what it is. That's the problem I see right now is everyone thinks everything's a conspiracy theory. They want to be right. They want to feel that they can't trust people. They want to be defensive. Yet they live in the same fucking system that they bitch about every day. It allows them to bitch about it every day. And it actually hurts the system because no one wants to help anybody else. They just want to fucking sit there being lazy as fuck, not do anything, not pay taxes, not get vaccinated, and just go do everything they want to do. Like, so what, I die, but yeah, you infect 7 other people at the same time. Like, that's selfish. That's just fucking selfish. Well, you're symptomatic of a conspiracy theorist. Oh no, trust me, I try to understand the other side. My whole fucking Facebook feed, check this shit out. You say that I'm lazy? Don't call me lazy. You should know me, I'm not lazy. You should know me by now. Everything I do, I try to do fact based. Let's look at my Facebook. Damn, she bought one of those? Uh, Stupid ads. Here you go. Vieto Karma. This dude, all he spouts is conspiracy theories. Josh Harper, right winger, all he spouts is conspiracy theories. And I read every one of them, like, okay, maybe I'm wrong about something. I'm waiting. I'm still fucking waiting. Here he is. Via Karma again. She's a little left wing. She's cool though. I know her. She's kind of in the middle. But I got plenty of right wing people here. Plenty of them. Plenty of. He's This guy's a little nuts. He's a little conspiracy theory nut job. Just who he is. I'm thinking. Can't tell me I'm not thinking. I think about it. I think if the CDC is rushing stuff, I'm not stupid. Because they're the ones that don't get the fucking vaccines. Get over here. Not conspiracy nuts. Well, think what you want to think. I just wish people would be honest with what they're saying, but I don't think a majority of them are. They just don't want to get the vaccine. They just want to stick it up to the man. They could really give a shit about consequences. That's the reality of the situation. Yeah, half the intensive care beds. That's a lot of intensive care beds for one disease. For one disease, half. That's quite a bit. And how many of those are vaccinated versus unvaccinated? Like, I'm just saying, some hospitals are full. I'm not saying all hospitals are full. You said I send you a case, I sent you a case. What more do you want from me? If I get information from somewhere else, that'll probably be manufactured, right? Of course it'll work fine for me. I do that in the fucking markets every day. I assimilate information, try to understand it. I'm not using a lazy argument. Then you tell me what would prove my argument. What in your opinion would prove my argument? I'm saying that when you get unvaccinated, you are affecting people around you, not only yourself. People talk about herd immunity. Well, then why give a shit about herd immunity? You can have herd immunity with vaccination. You don't care about herd immunity. What bias assumption? If you have a differing opinion about the whole patriotic thing, like that's one thing, but there's no bias. So my bias assumption is that if everybody got vaccinated, we would have less virus. Is that a biased assumption? Yeah, and I clean up after myself. Okay. You can't jump to the pole. It's nonsense, Ellie. All this is nonsense. It's all nonsense. All nonsense. Those are not good arguments about anything. They don't prove your point in any way, shape, or form. No one no one dies when you don't litter. Nobody dies when you buy stuff. Nobody can die. It's not lazy. It's the reality of the situation. You're changing the argument to fit your narrative, which is something I'm not doing. I'm trying to stay with the argument, but you guys tiptoe around this shit. You never hit it head on. If you just say, I don't want to get vaccinated and leave it at that, that's at least a defensible position because that's an opinion. And I can also, at the same time, say it's not patriotic. That's also a position. Those arguments can stop there. That's fine. But then you try to blah, 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 blah. That's not it. That's not how it works. If someone says, and you've never said you're a patriot, I'm not calling you this, but if someone says they're patriotic and won't get the vaccine, they're not patriotic. When you're a patriot, you sacrifice something, even if the something isn't very a big, even if it's not a very big sacrifice. I don't litter because I'm patriotic. Because I actually give a shit about the United States of America and the people in it. I don't litter to make it better for everybody. I teach my kids not to litter to make it better for everybody. That's it. It's pretty simple. You don't have to explain patriotism. You can say that's something I'm not willing to do, and that's okay. No, I understand the other position. I understand it. I don't agree with it. Just because I understand it doesn't mean I don't have to, I negate my opinion on it. I just said they're selfish. That's their position. That's the position. They're selfish. Being unvaccinated doesn't make you patriotic. It makes you not, it's not doing anything. Not doing anything in some cases could be patriotic, but in this case it's not, because something is here. You do something for that or you don't. If there's a war that breaks out and I don't go and fight in it, I'm not patriotic. That's it. That's it. You want to pick a corner case to prove your argument? Okay, that's a way to go. Sure, that's a way to go. You know what? There's a guy that got into a car accident that didn't die of COVID. So that proves that argument is false. Again, you're leaving the playing field again. You're leaving the playing field again. I mean, that was the end of my argument right there. Like everything I just said. That was it. That's my argument. Full stop. Nothing else. People can't call themselves patriots and, and then not get vaccinated because there's no sacrifice involved. You can say I'm patriotic and selfish. I could agree that could be a stance. I could agree with that. But I don't think that not getting vaccinated makes you patriotic. No connection in what? Getting the vaccine and being patriotic? Okay, I guess that's an opinion. Sacrifice? Well, patriotism. Uh, we're going to go through this whole rabbit hole again. I got to take my kids to school. I'll see you later.